The day I walked into my own company, dressed like a nobody, was the day I learned how power truly corrupts. I didn't wear my tailored suits or diamond watch. No assistant followed me. No security cleared my path. I chose a simple beige coat, flat shoes, and loose hair pulled back with a clip. I wanted to see the truth, the raw behavior people showed when they believed no one important was watching. The lobby buzzed with morning energy, phones rang, coffee cups clinked, interns rushed past, eyes glued to tablets, trying to look important. I smiled to myself. 10 years ago, that was me. Dreaming, terrified, hopeful. I stepped toward the elevator when suddenly, splash. A burning heat exploded across my chest. Coffee soaked into my coat, seeping through the fabric, stinging my skin. The sharp bitterness filled my nose. For a second, I didn't move. I just stared down at the spreading stain, my heartbeat pounding in my ears. Gasps echoed around the lobby. "Are you blind?" A sharp female voice snapped. I looked up. She was young, maybe 22 or 23. Perfect hair, designer handbag. Her intern badge hung proudly, as if it gave her authority. She stared at me with disgust, not even a hint of apology on her face. I began. She cut me off with a laugh. "Unbelievable. People like you should learn where they're allowed to walk. People like me." My fingers tightened around my bag strap. I glanced around, expecting anyone, to speak up. HR? Security, a manager. No one did. Some looked away. Others stared at the floor. A few watched eagerly, like this was entertainment. The intern crossed her arms. "Do you know who I am?" I stayed silent. She stepped closer, lowering her voice as if sharing a secret meant to scare me. "I'm the CEO wife." The room froze. I felt something twist inside my chest. Not pain, not shock, but a cold, familiar ache. "My husband," she continued, confidence dripping from every word. "I can have you fired with one text, so unless you want to lose your job, clean yourself up and move." Her eyes traveled over me, judging, measuring, dismissing. For a moment, memories flooded my mind. Late nights alone in this building. Mortgage papers signed in fear, rejection emails, boardrooms full of men who laughed at my ideas. I had built this empire brick by brick, and now I stood soaked in coffee, invisible. Still, I didn't raise my voice. I smiled, not because I was weak, but because I understood something she didn't. "Is that so?" I asked calmly. She scoffed. "You think I'm lying?" I reached into my bag slowly, deliberately, pulled out my phone. Her smile wavered. "I just want to confirm," I said gently. After all, a wife should be easy to recognize. Whispers spread through the crowd. She laughed again, louder this time, but there was tension underneath. "Go ahead, call him. He won't answer you." I unlocked my phone. Dialed a number I knew by heart, and as it rang, I looked straight into her eyes, still calm, still smiling, while the coffee dripped from my coat onto the marble floor. This wasn't anger. This was the beginning. The phone rang once, twice. Each sound echoed through the lobby louder than it should have. Conversations died mid-sentence. Even the air felt heavier, as if the building itself leaned in to listen. The intern tilted her head, arms crossed, lips curled into a smug smile. "See," she said, "told you. He's busy. Important men don't answer random. Hello," came my husband's voice. The word sliced through the silence. Her smile twitched. I lifted the phone slightly, not to show it, just enough so she could hear. "Good morning," I said sweetly. "I hope I'm not interrupting." There was a pause. "I'm in a meeting. Is this urgent?" I glanced at the coffee dripping down my sleeve, then back at the intern, who suddenly looked very still. "Yes," I replied. "Your wife just threw coffee on me in the lobby." A few employees gasped. Someone sucked in a sharp breath. The intern laughed too loud, too forced. "Oh my God, are you serious right now?" I ignored her. Coffee. My husband repeated, confused. "What wife?" I smiled wider. "Oh," I said lightly, "she says she's married to you. I thought you might want to meet her in person." Silence. "Then where are you?" he asked. "In the lobby." I answered, "By the elevators." Another pause. I could picture his face, the crease between his eyebrows, the way his jaw tightened when he sensed trouble. "I'll be there in 10 minutes, he said. "Don't move." The call ended. For the first time since this began, the intern didn't speak. Her eyes darted around the lobby. Employees who had been silent moments ago now whispered openly. Phones slid from pockets. A security guard straightened his posture. She scoffed, trying to recover. "Nice acting," she said, though her voice shook. "You think some fake call scares me." I set my phone back into my bag. "You seemed very sure a moment ago." She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Listen, lady, I don't know what game you're playing, but you should stop before you embarrass yourself." I met her gaze. "I'm not embarrassed." She looked at my coffee, stained coat, and laughed bitterly. "You should be." That was when I noticed something else: her hands. They trembled slightly. She clenched them into fists, then smoothed her blazer like she could press her confidence back into place. "HR will hear about this," she snapped. "You're harassing me." I nodded slowly. "Please involve them." Her eyes widened. "What? I insist," I said. "They should be present when your husband arrives." The whispers grew louder. One woman near the reception desk stared at me with dawning realization. A man from finance avoided eye contact, guilt written all over his face. They had watched me get humiliated and done nothing. The intern backed away a step. "You don't belong here," she muttered. "People like you always try to climb above their place." I felt it then, not rage, but clarity. "I built this place," I said softly. "I belong everywhere in it." She laughed again, but this time it cracked halfway through. "You're delusional." The elevator chimed. Every head turned. Footsteps echoed down the hallway. The intern straightened, pasted on a bright smile, and whispered, "Watch how fast you disappear when he gets here." I didn't move. I didn't speak. I simply waited, because in less than 10 minutes, her lie and my marriage were about to collapse in front of everyone. The elevator doors slid open with a soft chime. Silence swallowed the lobby. Every head turned as a familiar figure stepped out, tailored suit, polished shoes, confidence sharpened by years of borrowing authority he never earned himself. My husband. For a split second, relief flashed across the intern's face. She practically glowed, as if his presence alone restored her power. She rushed forward, heels clicking loudly against the marble floor. "There you are, baby," she said brightly, looping her arm through his. "These people have been harassing me all morning." He didn't return the gesture. His eyes locked onto mine. And in that moment I watched every color drain from his face. His posture stiffened. His hand twitched at his side. He looked like a man who had walked into the wrong room and realized there was no exit. The intern laughed nervously. "What's wrong? Aren't you going to say something?" He opened his mouth, closed it. I stepped forward, the wet fabric of my coat clinging to my skin. "Meet the woman who claims to be your wife," I said calmly, "and meet the husband who forgot he already had one." The lobby exploded into whispers. The intern's smile faltered. "What are you talking about?" she demanded, turning to him. "You said you were divorced." He swallowed hard. I said we were separated." My gaze didn't leave his face. "You said many things." Her grip on his arm loosened. "You told me she was out of the picture. You said she didn't matter." He flinched. That was all the confirmation I needed. I looked around at the employees gathered in a half-circle, people who had seen me humiliated minutes ago, and now watched history rewrite itself in real time. "She threw coffee on me," I said, my voice steady, "because she believed your lies gave her power." The intern's face turned pale. "You promised me the company," she whispered. "You said I'd be running this place one day." A murmur rippled through the crowd. He finally spoke, his voice tight. "Lower your voice." She laughed, a broken, hysterical sound. "Now you care." She turned to me, eyes wild. "You think you've won? He chose me. He came to me every night. He said you were cold, weak." I smiled, not cruelly, but knowingly. Men who cheat always rewrite their wives. He reached out to me. "Please," he said quietly, "not here." I stepped back. "Here," I replied, "is exactly where truth belongs." Security moved closer, sensing the shift. HR stood frozen near the reception desk, eyes wide. The intern shook her head rapidly. "No, no, this isn't happening." She looked at him again. "Tell them I'm your wife." He didn't. That silence shattered her. You used me, she cried. You let me believe. I let you believe what you wanted. He snapped, anger finally surfacing. You knew I was married. The words hit her like a slap. Tears spilled down her cheeks. You said it was temporary. I folded my arms. It always is. To men like him, I turned to the crowd. This is what happens when lies are promoted and decency is punished. Then I faced her. You don't get fired today because you lied. I said softly. You get fired because you abused authority you never had. She crumpled. And my husband, he stood there, exposed, smaller than I had ever seen him. For the first time, he realized something irreversible. I wasn't asking for answers. I was ending the story. The lobby felt different once the truth settled in. It wasn't loud anymore. It wasn't chaotic. It was heavy. Like everyone present understood, they were witnessing the end of something and the beginning of something far more honest. I took a slow breath. My name is Isla Khan. I said, my voice calm but unmistakably firm. Founder, CEO, majority shareholder of this company. Gasps rippled through the room. The intern's knees buckled slightly. She reached for the reception desk to steady herself. You're lying, she whispered, but there was no conviction left in her voice. I turned to HR. Please escort her to collect her belongings. No, she cried. He told me. I held up a hand. We are done discussing what a married man promised you. Security stepped forward gently but firmly. As they guided her away, she looked back at my husband, waiting for him to save her. He didn't. The elevator doors closed on her sobs. I faced him next. You humiliated me, he said quietly. You didn't have to do this in front of everyone. I smiled, not with anger, but with relief. You humiliated me long before today. I simply stopped protecting you. His shoulders sagged. We can fix this. No, I replied. We can't. I turned to the crowd, effective immediately. All access under his credentials is revoked. A technician nearby nodded and began typing. My husband's phone buzzed once, twice. His face fell as realization hit. This company exists because I believed in integrity when no one else did. I continued. If anyone here feels they must tolerate abuse to survive, today should tell you otherwise. Eyes met mine. Some filled with guilt, others with admiration. I stepped out of my coffee-stained coat and handed it to a junior employee who had looked at me with quiet concern earlier. Please have this cleaned, I said kindly. She nodded, emotional. To my husband, I said, the divorce papers will be filed today. You'll hear from my lawyer. He opened his mouth, then closed it. For the first time in years, he had nothing to say. Weeks passed. The intern's story faded into rumor. My husband's name disappeared from internal emails, then from the building entirely. The board meeting I had dreaded for years turned into applause when I walked in alone. I promoted people who had shown kindness when it mattered. I rewrote policies. I rebuilt culture. One evening, as I stood in my office overlooking the city lights, I realized something surprising. I wasn't angry anymore. The betrayal hurt, but it freed me. The coffee stain never fully came out of that coat. I kept it anyway, not as a reminder of pain, but as proof of power reclaimed, because sweet revenge isn't loud. It's living well,